My name is Maria Callas. I was born as Cecilia Sofia Anna Maria Kalogeropoulos in New York City on December 2, 1923. My parents, Greek immigrants, shortened our last name to Callas.
Maria, how did your musical career start?
I began taking classical piano lessons when I was 7 years old. Being good at singing, my mother pushed me on to follow a vocal career. When I was a teen, my parents separated and we moved to Athens where I studied voice.
So, can you tell us a little bit about your opera debut?
In 1941, I made my professional debut with the Royal Opera of Athens in Boccaccio. Later in the year, I took on my first major role in Tosca.
Maria, we know that you were married. How was your life those years?
I moved to Verona, where I married the rich industrialist Giovanni Meneghini. Under his management, I continued to perform in Italy with the nickname The Tigers. I also performed at the Lyric Opera of Chicago, and I sang with the Metropolitan Opera in New York. After my divorce with Meneghini, I was having an affair with the shipping magnate Aristoteles Onassis.
Which and where were your last performances?
During the 1960s, I made a brief return to performing with the Metropolitan Opera. My final operatic performance was in Tosca in London. I also appeared in the title role of the film Media.
What did you do when you stopped performing?
I conducted master classes at Juilliard in New York. Despite my failing health, I went on an international recital tour. I moved to Paris and I became a recluse.
Σκέφτεσαι αυτό που σκέφτομαι. Welcome back to the Late Erasmus show, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today because we have a very special guest.
Hi, what's up? My name is Theo James and I was born on December 16, 1984 in Oxford, England as Theodore Peter James Kinner Tacticlus. I know it's difficult. I'm an actor known for Divergent, Insurgent, and Underworld Awakening.
Moi non plus.
So, James, could you possibly give us some information about your parents and your family in general?
Well, I'm the son of Jane, who worked for the National Health Service, and Philip Tacticlus, a business consultant. My parental grandfather was Greek. He moved from Peloponnese to New Zealand. And I'm the youngest of 5 children. I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, as I can see here, you attended grammar school, right?
Oh yes, I attended Aylesbury Grammar School and went on to earn my undergraduate degree in philosophy from the University of Nottingham. And I also trained at the Bristol Vic Theatre School.
That's interesting. And what about your television debut?
Well, I made my television debut in A Passionate Woman starring opposite Billy Piper. And my film credits include You Will Meet a Tall Dark Stranger and The Domino Effect.
Perfect. And one last question. Do you have other hobbies such as playing a music instrument, for example?
For sure, and I'm so happy that you're asking this. Well, outside my acting career, I was the singer and the guitarist of the London-based band Sure Can. But unfortunately, on 21st November 2012, we announced on our Facebook page that we were no longer actively playing as a band, and that members would be pursuing other musical endeavors. But anyone interested in my music can easily subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I play and sing. Thank you so much for your time, I really do appreciate it. I'm Theo James, and see you next time. Bye bye.
Αυτό το ποίημα της Marina Mercury το ξέρεις?
Ναι, ρε, είναι πάρα πολύ γνωστό.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are so lucky today for having here the well-known actress and politician Marina Mercury.
Hello, it's my pleasure to be here with you.
So, Marina, tell us some things about your life.
Well, I was born in Athens in October 18, 1920. I first attended drama classes when I was 18 years old. My career as an actress began when I was 35 with the film Stella in 1955. I went to France.
France, whoa.
Yes. And starring in the French theatrical scene. And after that I went in the United States with the film Elia Darling.
And what about the awards that you have received?
Well, I have been honored to receive the Best Actress Award in the Cannes Film Festival, and I have also been a candidate for an Oscar.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, your political career started in 1991 as a culture minister, am I right?
That's true, no country has the right to take advantage of another country's heritage. And what do people mean when they say Elgin marbles? They are the marbles of Parthenon and they belong to my country, Greece.
I understand. Since when have you been such a strong supporter of this issue?
Since the British Museum in which the marbles are made us pay when we asked them for a film.
I really see your point. I hope your wish to become true someday.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm now presenting you the one and only Zach Galifianakis. Thank you for being here.
The pleasure is mine.
Αυτός ο Γαλιφιανάκης ωραίος φαίνεται.
Ναι, να κάτσουμε να τον δούμε.
Okay, Zach, now I want you to tell us about the way you started your career, because most of the world knows you about the Emmy Award-winning talk show Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis and the Hangover movies.
Yes, I know this does happen because these were two very important stations in my career. But this was not the way I started, of course. I began back in 1996 with the TV series Boston Common and Apartment 2F. Then around 2001 I started participating in films, sometimes with big and sometimes with small roles. I had the main role in Out Cold and some smaller roles in Corky Romano, Below, Bubble Boy and Into the Wild and some other films. And I also participated in True Calling, Dogs Bites Man and Wonder Shoujen, which were TV series.
I have to admit that your filmography is quite impressive, Zach, but I would also like to tell us about your successful career as a comedian too.
My first steps in the comedy industry started around 2001 as well, when I was part of a stand-up comedy show tour. 2002 I hosted a VH1 talk show called Late World with me, Jacques.
And now I think we must talk about the talk show you host since 2008 called Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis, which, despite its length, is known for making any guest feel really uncomfortable.
Well, as a comedian, I did not want my show to be such a mainstream and to be restricted only to interviewing my guests, so I tried to give a different style to my show, and that's what I did by revealing the truth in a funny kind of way.
At last, I was really eager to ask if you could ever believe that the Hangover movies would be such a successful while filming them.
The truth is, I was very optimistic about this movie because I thought that this was a scenario that people would approve and enjoy. The sequel's success was more predictable.
Thank you for bringing tonight with us, Zach.
You're welcome, Rania. The pleasure was mine.